welcome. This is the Mitch Relph Show. A new series. I'm here for 8 weeks. They've been filmed. They're ready to go. And for those next, it'll be 7 weeks because this is the first episode. But for the next 7 weeks, we'll be discussing 7. And we've got a bit with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I'll be discussing 6 of my favourite shows, and then I'll be discussing my all-time favourite show. But this episode, I just want to talk to you briefly about how much comedy has changed over the years. And obviously, there's some comedies that are not allowed to be on TV anymore. They've actually been banned because of their, as they say nowadays when it's on an app. You've got several apps. You've got ITVX, BBC iPlayer, Netflix, Disney Plus. That's just a few to name. And a lot of the older comedies are now back on those channels. ITVX has got quite a bit of the older comedies. BBC iPlayer. I don't think Netflix has, actually. Well, it's got things like Benidorm on it. That's actually a fairly recent comedy, if you like, but it kind of annoys me, really, because obviously the comedy that's on nowadays is obviously not as good as the original ones. The ones I'll be discussing, my all-time favourites will be Goodnight Sweetheart, 40 Towers, Keeping Up Appearances, One Foot in the Grave, On the Buses, and then at the end I'll be discussing my all-time favourite. What do you think it'll be? What do you think my all-time favourite comedy out of all those ones I've just listed will be? You have to wait till episode 8 for that one, I'm afraid. It's only 8 weeks away. It'll be fine. Now, I must just point out that obviously ITVX and BBC iPlayer have a message that come up now. So whenever you watch one of the old comedies, there's a little message that will come up, and it will say, I think that it may offend. Obviously, the content that's in it is due to the current time period. Now, my view has always been, if you find the show offensive, why are you watching it? You're happy to watch it when it first aired, and then now all of a sudden you complain because you find it offensive, which I understand. People do find things offensive. But then, if you're finding it offensive, why are you watching it? Why are you putting yourself through that stress, that worry, that anxiety? And then, obviously, you make a complaint to the BBC or whoever, produces the show that you're not happy about it. Well, there's a simple thing to that. Don't watch it. If it offends you, don't watch it. It takes a lot to offend me, personally, but obviously now that they're all back on there, it's actually quite good to see, to watch them again. I remember that. I've actually got DVDs of all of them, On the Buses, Goodnight Sweetheart. I've got them all on DVD, but for me, I spend more time watching my iPad. So for me, I'm quite happy just, sit here and watch it on my tablet rather than, on my phone, rather than having a DVD. But I do have them. One thing actually to bear in mind, which I actually noticed, is that if you watch Only Fools and Horses on DVD, a lot of it is actually uncut compared to, if you're watching it on, streaming services. So, DVDs are good. They're not uncut. But obviously, I'm trying. Everyone tries to move with the times, and they've got them all on, the apps now, so you don't have to watch anything. And Google, the TV, the Google Store, the Apple Store. You can now buy them and have them on your, on your phone or your tablets. You don't actually have to have the DVD. So, it depends who you are. But then the thing is which I don't know actually, I might discuss it. But there's a comedy set after Only Fools and Horses called The Green Green Grass, which I'm sure some of you may be aware. You may have seen it. I have that on DVD because obviously that's not actually available. You can't buy it online, but I know it's on Now TV. But I don't know. Obviously, I think it'd be handy if everything was online, because then you don't have to have all the DVDs lying around. But it is good because, like I said, a lot of them are uncut. It's the original footage, and it's hard to, I guess, to put a lot of stuff on TV because people do find it offensive. So comedy has changed quite a bit over the years. But yeah, so join me next week when there will be the first episode of the reviews, if you like. The actual comedy episode. This is just me rambling on as I tend to always do. But yes, it's here. It's back. I'm back. So it's taking so long, to be fair. I had a few things to sort out, and I was kind of thinking, where to be. Do I want to be on YouTube? Do I want to be on TikTok? Couldn't really make my mind up, to be honest. But yeah, so I'll see you next week for the first episode, where I'll be talking about Only Fools and Horses. So, until then, good afternoon.